Good morning, LBHT crew. Good morning, Road Nation. Hendo is still out. I believe he's out for the whole week. He's enjoying himself on vacation. So we're gonna let him enjoy that. Let me fix this right here. There we go. B might be here. He might be here. We didn't previously discuss it, but if he's up, I'm sure he would hop on and we are here. We are here. Let's get some good mornings out the way. I like this. We starting out the morning with a super chat from Dr. Kush. Appreciate that. Says good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Dr. Kush. Appreciate that support. Who else we got in here? He says Danny Oral loves speaking nonsense about Lamar Jackson, but he's very silent when it comes to flop Allen and his flaws. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that heavy because we knew it was going to happen, right? We kind of hinted at that yesterday that the media is going to make a circus out of Lamar showing up or not showing up, and that's exactly what they did. All right, so we're going to really break down that, and we've discussed the media's role nowadays, not just in sports but in politics, and everything. And you have to be really careful where you get your sources from, and what their motive is and things like that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Carmela Moody, good morning. Good morning. Buenos dias to my man Noah. Appreciate you coming through. Michael Aiken, salute. We got Tori in the house. Salute family. I believe they hate Lamar because he proves them wrong and doesn't have an agent to leak information. Facts. They tried to anticipate his decision yesterday just to look foolish. Yeah. TC, good morning. Says, good morning, Jose. Keep up the great work and have a blessed day. Have a blessed day as well, TC. Appreciate you. Rainmaker, good morning. Colorful, good morning. Big Boy, good morning. It is what it is. Salute. Coach C, salute. Just Aloe, good morning. Says, good morning, LBHT and friends. Another 16 days of black quarterback attack until they have something else to talk about. Facts. Sea Iron Addict, salute. Good morning to Alfonso Richardson. Says, good morning. Dan is a total idiot. Facts. Grand Rising Point. Yes. And everybody listen to the point. Hit that like button. Hit that like button as you come in here. All right. If you usually go over to Hendo stream over on the Road Pod, anybody that's looking for that content, we're here today. It's just me today. All right. And those on vacation. We got Chaos in the house. What's going on, Chaos? Salute to you. Pamela, good morning. Bazel, my brother Bazel, salute. Good morning to you. Reese, salute. Good morning. Dance fan, good morning. Says good morning. Make sure that you hit that like on the way in. Let's all have a great day. Yes, everyone listen to Dance fan. Says have a great day on purpose. That's right. Top of the morning to Navy McIntosh. I think that's how you say it. Top of the morning to you. Appreciate you coming through. I'm just chilling, watching the show. That's what's up. All right. We'll see if B comes in or not, but we'll get it started. All right, listen. We knew what it was, right? We knew the media. They were kind of hinting that from the time Minter and the coaches had their press conference, and Declan Doyle said, "Hey, yeah, we would love to have Lamar here to start working with him." Blah 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 blah. Right? That I didn't take much away from those comments. Right? Coaches always say they want their players in the building, right? But of course, the media took that and said, "Oh, well, Lamar hasn't been doing the voluntary workouts, and is he really committed to the team if he doesn't show up with a new coach to get them on the same page?" Blah blah blah. Right? So I knew that was going to be a spectacle. I also figured Lamar would show up. Right? Like, Lamar has done everything to make sure he's prepared for the season. He's done everything to make sure he's in the best position to help his team win. And I think he does that probably more than anybody. right? And yet here we are going into his 9th season. There is some question about his work ethic, question about his dedication, and it's crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy that they still are on that. And yes, we know what it is now, right? But the way media works now is they play to people's biases, right? That's why you'll still have trolls out there. You have racists out there. You just have people that just haters that are going to buy into those narratives, not because they believe it. It's because somebody in mainstream media is confirming their biases, right? Confirmation bias, right? By saying this stuff, and they know it's BS. They know it is, but they know it will get people to click on it. You know, even the people that knows BS will click on it because it garners emotion. You know, so that's why they do those things. Dan Orlovsky doesn't believe the things he's saying. He's told to say it. Dan Orlovsky is just an employee. He's not a analyst anymore. He used to be. I thought he was a pretty good analyst. I used to like Dan Orlovsky, but media has changed now. They get their talking points and they go on TV and they say ridiculous things. I don't think everybody does it, but I think the ones that do it probably get paid more, right? They get paid more. But that's what he is. He's a sellout. And it's obvious at that point that he's a sellout. He's also employed by the Bills organization. So yes, he is a Josh Allen apologist, Josh Allen representative. And he really pushed for Josh Allen. He led that narrative for Josh Allen to win MVP. And he should have been disqualified for even voting, right? Like he was getting paid by the Bills that year, I believe, to do some media work. He should not have had a vote. But I want to pull this up because I didn't even see this. And I think I heard Nitro mention this on Coach's stream last night. I think he's talking about the same thing. Well, there is a few things going on. So this I think what he was talking about was something that happened on FS1, but this happened on ESPN, and this is Dan. This is from Polymarket Sports. So I'm taking them for their word. I didn't see this, but it says Dan Orlovsky called out Lamar Jackson for not showing up to the first day of all-season workouts. Lamar Jackson was in fact there. ESPN deleted the clip about it. Did y'all see this? Did y'all see that? So it seems like they jumped the gun because they're anticipating him not being there. He showed up, and instead of saying, "Oh, our bad, he actually was there. Good for him," they're like, "Let's just cut." You know, Neuropsych Sports. Good morning, cousin Davon. Good morning. Dan is a puppet. Morning, y'all. Facts. Devin Janelle, good morning. Says Dan O wanted Lamar to not show up so bad that he jumped the gun. That's what it is. That's what it is. And I just find it crazy that Dan Orlovsky, who never even close, like Dan Orlovsky used to play in the NFL. I'm not going to say he was a bum. Like you can call him a bum, relatively speaking, but if you make it to the NFL and you get to play, you're not a bum. But Dan Orlovsky has never been the caliber of player that Lamar Jackson has been on any level, like any level. And to see him question him, like his work ethic and the things that he's got to improve on and all that stuff. Like, yes, you can critique just because you're not as good as somebody doesn't mean you can't critique somebody, right? But the way he nitpicks at Lamar Jackson, this is like, bro, who do you think you are? You know what I'm saying? To the point to where you're lying to people, because that's what you did. You lied to people, right? When you put out misinformation and you don't correct it, you just delete. You don't retract anything, because some people may have seen that clip and then turn off the TV and then they go to work and they're like, yeah, Lamar Jackson didn't show up to work or didn't show up to practice, right? And other people are like, what are you talking about? He's there. Like you have to retract those things. Like, oh, well, first of all, get it right. That's first and foremost. Get it right. You don't know if he showed up or not. You just assumed, right? Who are you talking to? We all know Lamar Jackson has a tight circle. He doesn't have an agent, like was mentioned before. Who are you getting your information from that he's not going to show up? You can't even get that information from the coaches, right? The doors open at 8 a.m. or whatever time. You have to wait and confirm whether he's going to be there or not. So if anybody told you, yeah, Lamar's not planning on showing up, they're lying to you, right? They're lying to you. So once again, Lamar just, and this is part of the reason why, like, some of this is talking points. Some of this is they do hate on Lamar because of not really playing the game with the media, right? And he makes them look like fools a lot of times. And other channels turn from hey, he needs to show up, he never shows up, to when he shows up, it's, oh well, they had a problem with him working out too hard, or the team work, they're working out too hard on the first day of workouts. What do you do when you work out? You know what I'm saying? Like, I saw the video, the little highlight video, the working out. That got me a little hyped, to be honest. I like seeing that. Like, there should be no wasted days when you go into the building. They don't have that much time with you, right? Set a tone, right? These are grown ass men. They can't work out hard. You know what I'm saying? It's not like they're pushing themselves to a point where they have to go to the sideline and vomit. But yeah, your workout should mean something. They should mean something. And we didn't get to see the whole thing. We saw like a 2-minute clip of it. Good morning, coach. Salute. God's favorite, salute. Zeke Okage, salute. Right? But like we're only seeing like a 2-minute portion of it. It looked great to me. It looked like, it's just a snapshot, but it looked like everybody was there, or most of all the main people were there. You saw Trey Hendrickson, you saw Derrick Henry, saw Marlowe there. He tweeted out, he said, yeah, we put in some work today. Saw Roquan there. Like, it looked like everybody was there. Tavius Robinson. I love to see that. Like, I mean, showing up is one thing, but like the work that they're putting in, because it tells me from day one, they're on the same page. We come in this year, be like, we all want the same thing. So that was good to see. If somebody didn't show up, I'm not too worried about that either. It's early in the season. People have their reasons, but look, they were there. And if you're one of those people that are like, hey, he's got to show up this year, well, he showed up. And that's all there is to it. He showed up. All you gotta say is, all right, cool. Yeah, Teddy was there. I saw him. Yeah, Teddy Buchanan was there. It looked like, Mike Green, Trey Hendrickson looks motivated. Yep. All true. Ty Riggs, what's going on? Good morning. Edmund, good morning. I see you in here. Who else came in here? Neuropsych Sports, I got you. Baltimore Berry, I see you. Who else? Mr. Chad says, good morning to you, Jose. In the chat, good morning to you. Good morning. Let's see. I'll read a couple more comments here. Grails, good morning. Good morning. Appreciate y'all, man. 100 people in here. Hit that like button. All right. If you're new, first time, hit that subscribe button. We are close to 3,500. Let's get to 3,500 by next week. All right. Let's try to do that. Let's push to do that. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. If you know anybody that hasn't subscribed, go ahead and bless them with a little gift and say, hey, lunch break hot take, hit subscribe, thank me later. Kwame, I see you in here. Good morning. Chaos says Bateman being there was a shocker for me. Does Bateman usually show up or not show up? I don't know. Listen, we don't pay attention to these things, right? I don't know how often he shows up to the first day of practice, or what player shows up the first day of practice. We're only talking about it now because we consume football a lot more than we used to in the past, and the media is making a big narrative about the Ravens, in particular Lamar Jackson, right? I don't know if Bateman usually does this or not, but I like it, right? There's no negative for everybody showing up this early, and some people have kind of speculated like, hey, this says a lot about what Harbaugh used to do. Maybe people didn't like the workouts that Harbaugh did. That could be a part of it. Like that's a part of it that the media won't discuss. And I never thought about that. Maybe people didn't like showing up to Harbaugh's workouts, right? Where you used to have a strength and conditioning coach that would literally get players injured, right? I mean, if you start out your career, right, Lamar, Andrews, who else was on that team? You know, we had Orlando Brown at the time, like, you know, like those guys coming in. Even after that, Hollywood Brown, you know, like you have a lot of these young guys coming in that had to experience that strength and conditioning coach that was actively getting players hurt, that was getting players sick. Because remember when they all got COVID, that came from him, right? Um, and Harbaugh, decides like I'm gonna put people in the doghouse if they don't pass my stupid conditioning test, right? My antiquated conditioning test, you know, all those things. Yeah, that would make people not want to go work out, right? On a voluntary workout. They don't want to deal with the BS. Like, I know how to get myself in shape, right? I know what it takes to go out there and play. I play at a level that my coach can't play at. And he's sitting here trying to dog me out day one. No, I'll pass, right? We got this strength and conditioning coach that doesn't know what he's doing and he's getting us hurt. I work with real strength and conditioning coaches. I work with real professional personal trainers, nutritionists, things like that. They can't tell me anything. They clearly don't know what they're talking about. So that could definitely be a part, a reason why they weren't doing it in the past. And for them to show up this year means there's a level of trust with Jesse Minter and the staff coming in, you know, in their first year, right? First time head coach. But they've established something with these players already where there's a little bit of trust. Yeah, Steve Saunders was the strength and conditioning coach. There's a level of trust coming in the door with this coach and these players. So I think they're off to a good start. So there's a lot of positives that you can take away from the workout yesterday. Any negatives that you're hearing are pure hatred from the mainstream media because they look like fools again, and they know just negativity towards Lamar Jackson gets more clicks and positivity. That's really what it is. Blessings to you, Julian. Appreciate you coming through. We get just Aloe says the stupid right wing conditioning coach didn't believe in masks. Idiot. That's what it was. That's what it was. You know, he's one of those, oh, wearing a mask violates my rights. Oh, I can't breathe with a mask. Right? Like that's stupidness. Sit your ass at home then. Don't go to work. You know, he knew he was sick. Like, that's one of the things I would have sued him. You know you're sick. You know there's a COVID going around. You know you're supposed to keep your distance. You know you're supposed to wear a mask. You're supposed to do all those things. Wash your hands, you know, because some of them don't be washing their hands either, you know. And, you know, like, if that's how it's going to be, you know, don't go to work. Don't go to work. Mike, you can go somewhere else with that. I'll see you later. Well, no, I won't see you later. Poof, you're gone. Let's see. Point says, right, stay home if you're sick, for real. Yeah. Had Derek Wolfe lifting over 300 pounds with a back injury. That's what I'm saying. You don't know what you're doing. And this goes back to what I've said in the past. At least half, I think it's more than half of your coaches, of your people in the front office, right, are not professional level, right? A lot of these coaches should not be in the pros. They're not professional level coaches. Steve Saunders is a perfect example of that. What makes him a professional level strength and conditioning coach? Other than he knows somebody, right? He clearly is getting people hurt. He doesn't know what he's doing. What are his credentials? Is he a doctor? Does he have a PhD? You know, in I don't know, like sports sports health or whatever. You know, like, is he a doctor? Does he have a master's degree? Like, what are his credentials? Has he really? Does he have any personal training certifications, because some of these personal training certifications, they dive real deep into it. You know, you have your basic ones, and then you have your high level ones that require a lot of training, a lot of studying. You know, what are his credentials? And you can go around the league and find a lot of strength and conditioning coaches like that, where they don't really have any credential. It's just, oh, I've been, I'm related to so and so, and I got the job. John Gruden's, was it his son or his nephew? Right? He worked with Jay Gruden to be a strength and conditioning coach. What was he, like 25? What knowledge do you have? You know, yeah, sports medicine, exercise science, something like that. They don't have that. There might be a few. I'm not saying they're all like that. I would argue, if you look at the majority of these strength and conditioning coaches, you look at their resumes, they don't have that. Yeah, it's who you know in the league. Exactly. Baltimore Barry says, you think the Giants are going to give Dex the contract he wants or really trade him? It's funny you say that, because that was the other graphic I was going to bring up. And that is ESPN sources. Giants all-pro defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has requested a trade, and he will not be participating in the team's offseason workout program that opens Tuesday. Lawrence and the Giants have been through 2 off seasons attempting to negotiate a contract reflecting his value to the Giants over the last 3 years, but there has not been any progress per sources. And it's funny, you juxtapose this with Lamar Jackson and Ravens and everybody showing up. John Harbaugh, right, on his first day on the job, has one of his best players saying, I ain't showing up. In fact, trade me. Okay. And I'm not putting this on John Harbaugh. I'm not saying, what's up, SB Cam? I'm not saying that John Harbaugh caused this. No. This issue started years before John Harbaugh got to the Giants. But it is funny when we have this level of expectation for Lamar Jackson to show up and set a good example and make sure you get on the same page with the coaches and all that stuff. It's on Lamar Jackson to make it work. But here you have John Harbaugh, leader of men, right? Such a great coach. Hey, Ravens fire him. They're going to regret that, right? Remember, Josina Anderson said that, or something along those lines, and not just her, like a bunch of people, right? Leader of men, such a great leader. Get another job in 5 minutes, and he did. And you have your all-pro defensive tackle saying, I don't even want to meet you, bro. I don't even want to meet you. Nothing personal. I just don't want to meet you. I'm not going into your stupid workouts. In fact, trade me. And he's asking, after free agency, after they had, any other moves that they could have made have been made, and before the draft. He's like, trade me now. Actually, before the draft is probably an ideal time to ask for a trade. Hey, you looking to move up in the draft? You're looking for some more picks? Go ahead and trade me and get some more picks, because I'm not 2 years trying to work on a new deal. He's like, I'm not working on a deal with you. There's nowhere to go from there. Excuse me. Point says, you're right, though. For Dex to want to be traded speaks volumes. I mean, I don't think that's about John Harbaugh. That's about the organization. Baltimore Barry says he wants a new contract. Yeah, he wants a new contract. He doesn't want it there. I think he's just, you have a guy that's in his prime now. I think he's in his prime in terms of age, but he's been playing great, and the team's been going, like, what, they have 3 wins, 4 wins, something like that. The team's going in a different direction, and he wants to compete. And you whatever is going on with the contract, they haven't gotten it done. It's been 2 years, and he's fed up with it, and he's looking at the landscape now, it's like, y'all ain't winning. Okay, you brought in Harbaugh. That doesn't strike confidence in me. I want to go. This is the time. I mean, the time was 2 years ago to trade him when you're getting rid of Saquon Barkley. That you're pretty much giving up then, right? You should have traded him right along with Saquon Barkley. But before the draft, you got a couple of D tackles that people are looking at. That's the time to say, hey, got Dexter Lawrence. He can play right now. Give me a late first round or a future first round or a second round, whatever you can get for him. So no, I think he's gone. JR, what's going on? Says Dex is getting old, wants to win. How old is Dexter Lawrence? I don't think he's that old, is he? Dexter Lawrence. Let's look at his age. He's 28 years old. He's getting older, but these are his prime years. I think your prime ages, like to be in your physical peak, are like 27 to 29, something like that. So he's in his physical prime right now, and I think he still has a lot of really good football ahead of him. So this is the time to trade him for sure. But yeah, he wants to win. Definitely, he's been in the league for what, 7 years, probably 7-8 years. They can get a fourth. I think they can get more than a fourth. You think that's the most they can get for him? I'm sure EDC would give him $100 million too. Probably. Okay, let me ask y'all this: how would y'all feel if we traded for Dexter Lawrence? How would y'all feel? That's a need, right? Money Mike says they're saying Giants want a first and second for him. Okay. A second. Okay. He's a top 5 defensive tackle. Somebody will definitely offer a first. I don't know. Maybe. Like, the thing about the NFL, like, it's when you're this close to the draft, he is older, right? He's not old. He is older. When you're looking at the defensive tackles that are there, that are available, and what their potential could be, there's something about age and potential that it trumps your experience and skill now, right? And ability and all that stuff. Dexter Lawrence is one of those guys. He's a beast. You know that. But this kid Peters from Clemson, what he could be something. He could be nothing or he could be something. And if he's something, we got him for cheaper. We got him for 5 years, and he's younger. So that turns people off. But if you're trying to compete now, you don't bank on potential. You bank on proven, right? So we'll see. But the ones that are looking for proven, the ones that are trying to win now, you're talking about like the Rams. Their pick is towards the bottom. Do they even have their pick still? Didn't they trade their first round pick? Like those teams that are really looking to get the guy, they're either not giving you a high first round pick or they're giving you like a second round pick, is what I'm trying to say. The ones that are picking a little bit higher, they want younger players. Not saying they can't get it done, but I think it'll be tough for them to get a first round pick at this point. Maybe earlier on, when everything's still on the table. But now, teams have pretty much set their board. They have their eye on who they want, and they're not really looking to trade a first round pick at this point. Typically. That's why, Kwame, defund the defense. Appreciate that. Salute to you. Dr. Kush says, I will like the addition of Lawrence, a veteran that would pair up good with Hendrickson. Yeah, I would too if we did everything we need to do on offense, especially the offensive line. I wouldn't mind that at all. But we're going to spend another first round, second round pick on a tackle and pay him a bunch of money. Would he help? Yeah, man. Like, I can't get upset when we get really good players, offense or defense, but that ain't the move. That ain't we're one of those teams where if it's like, hey, we draft a defensive tackle, it is a position of need. It is a position of need. So it's not the worst thing in the world. But damn, man, I was playing around with some mock drafts last night, right? Just killing time. And it's like, bro, where are we going to get a center? Where are we going to get a center, man? Like, first round, I haven't seen a first round caliber center anywhere. I know people are saying Spencer Fano could convert to a center. He's never played center, but apparently he said he's willing to play that. He'll play any position, and maybe he's skilled enough to play that. Like Coach Evans says in the chat, I want my center to be a center, right? I don't want to get such a first round pick and experiment whether or not he can play that, right? Get the Iowa center. The Iowa center, what's his name? I've seen a couple centers out there. Sam Hecht, the guy from Florida, Connor Lew. I think that's what you're talking about. Connor Lew, is that the Iowa guy? I think it's Connor Lew. Yeah, all those guys. You're looking at, I think Sam Hecht went into Logan Jones. Some of them went in the second rounds. A lot of them went in the third and fourth rounds. Some of those guys are probably going to be really good. Which one? Right? Which one? Like, I felt good about Tyler Linderbaum when we drafted him in the first, because when you have a center that's good enough to go in the first round, you can pretty much take that to the bank. There has been, there's I think Linderbaum is the first center to not get a second contract with his original team, but obviously he got a second contract, right? Every center up until Tyler Linderbaum that's drafted in the first round has gotten a second contract with their team. So when we drafted him in the first round, I was like, that's our starter. We don't need to look around. We know we got a guy. Connor Lew's from Auburn. Okay. Logan Jones, Iowa. Louisville Cardinal Raven says we got Bullock. Yeah, we got Bullock. We sure do. That's and I hope he's the answer, but that's definitely not something you want to bank on. If you feel like we got Bullock and that guy from Indianapolis, I forget his name already. If the Ravens felt like they got somebody, you don't give them a 1 year prove it deal, right? And it's not even a prove it deal. It's just a 1 year. You're on the team. No promises made. You can still get cut deal. That's what they gave Corey Bullock. You don't do that for a starting center. You know what I'm saying? Because if he is and he balls out, how much is he going to ask for next year? He's younger than Tyler Linderbaum. What if Corey Bullock played like an All-Pro this year? Pinter, that's the other guy's name, Pinter. What if Corey Bullock played like an All-Pro this year? EDC's cooking. You see, he got Corey Bullock. Told y'all Corey Bullock, right? And Corey Bullock says, I need $30 million. I need $30 million a year. Not total, a year. Yeah, we're banking on a rookie. Yeah, we're banking on rookies. And Corey Bullock is just as good as might as well be a rookie. He played 40 snaps total last year, none of them at center. He's basically a rookie, but you're absolutely right. We're banking on rookies because we're probably more than likely we're looking at a rookie center unless we go and pick up somebody at the June 1st cuts. I mentioned the guy from the Lions. His name is escaping me right now. That center might be available. He wasn't good last year, but he's a veteran. It's a downgrade no matter what we do. But that, or we're looking at a rookie. Realistically, we're looking at a rookie. Hopefully, that can come in here and hold it down. Guard position. I'm telling you, man, like it's not looking great. John Simpson, Glasgow. Yes, Graham Glasgow. Thank you, Chaos. John Simpson just hasn't been good. He hasn't been good. And maybe he's there as a placeholder. maybe it's one of those things where it's like, okay, he can come in here and he give us a certain level of play that's slightly better than Falele and Voorhees. So we're a little bit better there. And if our, hopefully rookie guard that we draft high comes in and beats him out for a job, or Emory Jones comes in and beats him out for a job, and we have this other rookie that's playing at a high level. Simpson can come in, can just be that veteran on the team that can rotate in and be there in case there's an injury or one of these rookies hits a wall or something like that. That's a little bit more ideal. But center, bro, I don't know. And we need another tackle. Even if we don't get a replacement for Ryan Stanley or somebody that we can develop as a replacement, we need a swing tackle. Can Carson Vincent be that guy? Maybe. But we need to get another one to compete. And if you ask Coach Evans, he'll tell you that we need another tackle in here to compete with Rosengarten. And I agree. 150 people in here. Salute to y'all. Hit that like button. If you're new in here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We're going to hang out for a few more minutes. I wasn't sure if B was going to show up or not. He surprised me yesterday. He must have just been up. But appreciate him coming through. I'll try to get him to come on tomorrow morning. And, of course, tomorrow evening is the LBHT show. I wanted to discuss some things with him about the NCAA tournament, the women's tournament, the incident between Gino Ariema and Don Staley. You guys have already seen it by now. The tournament's over. But I wanted to discuss that interaction between the two of them. A couple other things I want to discuss. I'll wait for him to come back so we can, get his opinion on it. Also, this interaction between Jay Billis and John Calipari, where they're talking about just college basketball, but really college sports. It just players getting paid, and how coaches like John Calipari don't want to play that game. They don't want to have to openly negotiate with players. And he basically said if it turns into that, he's not going to be coaching much longer. And I say, good. You don't belong there. Just like Nick Saban. Nick Saban understood once the jig was up and other teams can compete monetarily for players, you weren't going to be as good anymore. And that's all it is, right? When the rules were geared towards you and you had money, your school had enough money, you had enough bagmen to secretly pay these players and keep them coming to Tuscaloosa, you're all for it. But now that money is spread out and teams can openly pay for guys and guys are like, hey, pay me this or I'm going over here. You don't want to deal with that. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just different. But we'll dive more into that tomorrow when B comes back. EDC's re-signed No Boom. I forgot about No Boom. I forgot. X says, I hope Minter has a strong influence on who to draft because EDC needs help. Yeah, he definitely is going to have input. How much does he influence EDC, or is EDC going to make the decision himself? Look, it's going to be, here's who's going to influence EDC. Ozzie Newsome and Jesse Minter, right? Those are going to be the two main voices that he listens to. Obviously, Jesse Minter, because he's the head coach, and you have to respect what the head coach is trying to do with the team, right? I'm guessing you're all on the same page. You just hired the guy. He told you exactly what his vision was for the team. So they should be on the same page with that. If he says, I want a D tackle, they're looking at all the D tackles to grab the best one on their board early on. And if he says, hey, we got to get Lamar protection, they're looking at the board and looking at the best player to get him that. But that's how it should go. But also, like, if he says, I want an edge rusher or I want a cornerback, you gotta be able to say no. We can't do that. We gotta protect our quarterback. We'll get you a cornerback later on in the draft. John Calipari has always been a terrible guy. Yeah, he's always been slimy. I used to respect the fact that he I would say developed players enough to get them to the NBA. right? He embraced the one and done when a lot of coaches didn't want to embrace the one and done. Players would go there with the understanding that, hey, we're trying to get you to the league. My goal is to get you to the league. I respected that. But this whole thing of not paying players for their work now, I don't respect that. You're talking about guys that make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And he had the nerve to say, oh, well, if I'm going to do all that, I might as well just go be a professional coach. I might as well just coach in the league. Yeah, you tried that. You got fired. And you're a professional coach now. How much money do you make? You make as much as those pro coaches, and you're not as good as those pro coaches. Why do you deserve that money? If we want to keep it amateur, right? If we want to keep it amateur, football, basketball, whatever, put a cap on coaches' salaries. You can't make more than $200,000, right? And that's really good money. That's really good money, right? But you can't make any more than that because it's amateur. You should be making millions of dollars if this isn't the pros, right? And by the way, no agents for you either. You don't get agents. Players don't get agents. Coaches don't get agents. This is the most you can make, and you can take it or leave it. It's a job, all right? If you have to get another job to supplement your income, that's on you, brother. That is on you. Gregory, what's going on? Ravens are locked in on day one. Yeah, I like it. I like it. I like seeing those videos. Like, the energy that you could kind of feel from the videos. Like, and Lamar, did y'all notice Lamar looked good? Lamar, Lamar and Derrick Henry, they looked pretty nimble on their feet. Am I the only one that saw that? I watched that video. I was like, oh, okay. He got some burst back. He got some burst. There's clearly something going on last year. It looked like they ain't a problem this year. All right. Landon Robinson can play D tackle from Navy. I've heard about him. I think he's projected to go later, though, right? Not a first round pick, from what I understand. I think this year, look, I'll say this about EDC. I don't think he's done a good job up until now. However, last year's draft has a lot of potential if they develop those guys and give them the opportunity to play. This year, what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing is there is a lot of talent at certain positions in this draft as well. So it's just about getting the right guys. We have to get guys that can come in and contribute right away. It can't be one of those things where it's just like, oh, you got to give them a couple years. We don't have a couple years. We have guys, especially at the O-line. If you're not going to make any investment in free agency, you're not going to bring back Tyler Linderbaum. We can't get guys in the third and fourth round and say, give them a year or two or 3 years. We had to just be right about him. We had to be able to get him in the third round, and he has to come in and be able to start right away. So it's risky what he's doing. He can do it. I don't have a lot of faith in him, but he can do it, and I'm rooting for him. Imani, what's going on? Says, dang, I'm tuning in late. Hey, whenever you show up, you are right on time. All right. Ashley, good morning. Good morning. You guys can show up whenever you want. There's always a replay. You can rewind it. All right. I'm gonna be here for a couple more minutes because I gotta get to work. I gotta get to work. How's what's going on? Says, the Marlins show up to OTAs? Yeah, he tweeted about it too. I think they were close to full capacity there, right? Full attendance. I didn't see the whole breakdown of everybody that was there, but all the main players looked like they were there, man. All the main players looked like they were there. And I love seeing that. Money Mike says, if them coaches had $200,000 cap, all of them would be trying to go to the NFL. They'd be trying. And you know what would happen? They'd be position coaches. They'd be strength and conditioning coaches making $200,000. Because most of those coaches in college can't cut it in the NFL. Can't cut it. Right? Because they don't know how to talk to grown men. That's why they stay in college. Marlon was training and posting. Yeah, he was. Yeah. Need some linebacker talent because Buchanan ain't it. Oh, here go the Buchanan slander. That's the Buchanan slander. Buchanan can play, man. He can play. Believe in him. I like Teddy Buchanan, but I wouldn't mind adding another person. But I like Teddy Buchanan, definitely. You want PQ back? He's still with the Steelers, right? There's rumors that they were going to let him go. Is he going to be a June 1st cut? Who knows? Maybe there's a reunion there. You might get your wish. You know, all I think about when I see Derrick Henry is that Ludacris song, "Move, Get Out the Way." Yeah. Man, you don't want him coming at you at full speed. That's for sure. Baltimore Barry says we're depending a lot on rookies. They first year to be good. Their first year EDC didn't build this team right. Yeah, I agree. But here we are. That's the problem. You don't want to depend on rookies. Even first rounders, you don't want to lean on them. But this is a situation that we're in. And I think he's going to make some other moves after the draft for sure. Right? He'll bring in some other veterans. Joe Bitonio's still out there. Kevin Zeitler's still out there. There's some guys that, listen, man, not great options at this point. They're older guys. They might be washed, but they'll provide a little bit better protection than what we had last year. Hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for this O-line when it's all said and done. But that is not how you build your O-line. It's not. Now, look, if they do that and they invest heavily in this draft in O-line, okay. You're not necessarily building a wall, but you're trying to develop a wall. I'll give you that. And then there's still a question of what you're going to do in terms of wide receivers. So there's a lot of holes to fill. We'll see, man. We'll see. All right. I'm about to get out of here. Been here for 47 minutes, 130 people in here. Salute to y'all, man. Hit that like button on your way out. Also, that pin link that you see in the chat box, that will take you to our Patreon page, patreon.com/LBHTShow. Last week, you missed us talking about a coach in a youth football league knocking out one referee, slept him, and squaring up against another referee. You guys see that picture? I haven't found any more information on that. I'm not even 100% sure that's a real story, because the only thing I found on that was a Facebook post from a local media thing in I think it happened in North Carolina, Fayetteville, I want to say, or South Carolina. But I haven't seen any video or anything else like that. I'll do, if I find any follow up, we'll discuss that on the Overtime Show this week. We have a lot to discuss, right? But that'll be on our Patreon. We talked about Tiger Woods, his DUI incident. We talked about these fraud cases that could be tied together. NFL players got scammed by someone they thought was an adult film star. Okay, we covered that. We covered a lot. We cover a whole lot on the Overtime Show. So you should be a part of that. Patreon.com/LBHTShow. For as little as $5 a month, you can be a part of that. And if you like what I'm wearing, this is our merch. We got a lot of stuff on our store. LBHTShow.com is where you can find that. Also, sign up to our newsletter. We're working some things out. I know I kept on promising a newsletter. It is coming soon. And once it comes back up, it will be consistent, more consistent. But sign up is free. All right, just go over to our website, sign up. We don't spam you. It's not one of those. Obviously, we don't spam you. I don't put it out. It'll probably be like a weekly thing, right? Just a real quick read, and you'll enjoy it. Keep you posted on what we got going on, what Hendo from the Robot has going on, Coach Evans, people in our community. All right. So check it out. White Teller was there and cheap, and EDC said no. Yeah, that's what gets me mad about this. There were options. I think EDC gets 2 O linemen. He has to get at least 2. I think he needs to get 3. I think we need a guard, we need a center, and we need a tackle. We need all 3. And the tackle isn't as important. That guy can be developmental, but he has to show a lot of promise. He has to be one of those guys that can come in and play swing tackle now, And or like, be versatile like Pat McCarry, right? And then eventually be able to take over at left or right tackle because Rosengarten may not be it. We don't know. We'll find out. But definitely we need to start looking at replacements for Ronnie Stanley. Unless we just plan on bringing him back. Maybe it's one of those things where we feel like, or they feel like, no, Ronnie still has a lot of good football left in them. The last regime just making him play through injuries and mismanaging his injuries a little bit. But he's healthy, he's strong, and we believe in him moving forward. All right, man. All right, I'll take your word for it. You know, if not, and you just don't want to pay him, you better have a backup plan because they had no backup plan for Tyler Linderbaum, and that's just foolish. Straight up foolish. EC's job depends on getting this right. Either he delivers or he'll get the call from Steve on his way home. And I think he's making moves with that in mind. I don't think he's goofing off this year. He's not making the right moves so far, in my opinion. But the season isn't over. The draft could really help change my mind on that. What he does after the draft can change my mind on that. The offseason isn't over. And all of the things could still happen. But I do believe he feels the pressure and he is trying his best. But he just may not be that good about it. Dr. Kush says, how do we know that players don't want to come back here? Maybe EDC is trying, but the players are saying no. Just a thought. I'll tell you this, Dr. Kush. This is an excuse that has been used for decades. Even when Ozzy was here, this is a talking point. This is a narrative that I guarantee you this is something that you thought about. This is something that was told to you, right? Because this is something that was told to me years ago, right? Oh, well, it takes two to tango. Players got to want to come here. Or I'm sorry, I thought we were a top-notch organization. We were one of the premier places to go, right? This is what the media feeds you. But also, hey, players have to want to come here. It's not always on the GM. Well, if you're a great GM, but you can never get top players, are you really a great GM? Great GMs make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Great GMs get talent. Great GMs get players to want to come play here. If we can never get players to want to come here, we can never get a top wide receiver. We can never get a good O lineman. We can never make it happen. That says something about your organization, right? Maybe it's just bad luck, but guess what? I don't want people with bad luck on my team either. So there you go. That could be it. That could be it. He doesn't make. That's it. I agree. He doesn't make the best offers. I wish he would change that mindset. Yeah, 100%. Ozzy used to do the same thing. Ozzy used to always miss the mark in free agency in terms of what players are going to make. He always missed the mark, especially on offense. But he understood where he was kind of weak at, and he would go in and make the trades or go and pay the money for people like Anquan Bolden, like Steve Smith. He tried to draft it, couldn't draft well. Wide receiver, he was terrible at it, and he went and got those guys. And the guys that he couldn't pay, didn't want to pay, especially on O-line, he was great at that. He was great at drafting O-linemen. But you got to know where you're weak at, and you got to supplement that by, if you got to overpay for somebody, you got to overpay. If you don't want to pay the money for Linderbaum, you have to get this draft right. Simple as that. I still don't understand how they let Linderbaum go. That $27 million, I'm sorry, that's not enough for me. Yes, the Tandon Doss days. Yes. Yes, Tandon Doss. Devin, yes, that $27 million to me isn't enough to part ways, especially when you don't have a plan, right? I was okay with them not signing him when I thought they were going to pivot to somebody else real quick, like the same way they did for Max Crosby. Max Crosby trade fell through, and they immediately went and got Trey Hendrickson. That's the type of urgency you need to have with your offensive line. Why didn't you have that for your center? Why weren't you able to immediately pivot to the next person. The guy from was it Jenkins, the guy that the Packers cut. Why wasn't that your immediate next move? Right? That's what you're supposed to have when a critical piece of your offensive line that was already bad is walking out the door. You should easily been able to say, okay, no worries, we got this guy coming in. No, your response was sign John Simpson. No, man, I can't. Oh, Jenkins. Yeah, Elgin Jenkins. Yes. Thank you, Chaos. I appreciate that. I haven't heard that name in a while. Yeah. We've had some names here, right? Neuropsych Sports says I've read people nervous about Omar Cooper Jr. because of Doss. Omar Cooper, I've seen some of his tape. He looks good. There's a few wide receivers in this draft class that could be pretty good, But again, it's about getting the right one. We could say, hey, we can get some guys later in the draft, right? There's always guys that you can get later in the draft. When I say we need to get a wide receiver early, or we need to get all linemen early, and we say, hey, we can get one later, we can. But will we? That's always the thing. Will we do it? All right. We're approaching the hour. I need to go to work. Some of y'all need to go to work. Some of y'all are already at work. If you are, listen, man, it's Tuesday. Don't do it. Don't give 100%. Give them about 30 today. 30%. You got to ramp up. Like certain times require 100%. Then you do what you got to do. Okay. Other than that, preserve yourself, man. Gas is too high. You can't energy bill's too high. You just can't be wasting energy like that. You can't be wasting that. All right. You just gotta be in preservation mode. All right. So, Chaos is off today. That's what I'm talking about. Salute to Chaos. All right. Salute to you. Salute to the ones that are off, especially on Tuesdays. Okay. Tuesday is that's my least favorite day. All right. We are out of here. Y'all have a great day. We will see you tomorrow. Peace.